Hey everybody, welcome back in the shed. I'm Troy Shaw, and with me is Dave Griffiths. What's up, Dave?
Oh, not much, Troy. The sun has returned to Central Texas, and it's an awesome day. And after, 18 inches of rain last 3 weeks, we're drying out and having a good time.
We always get the weather report from Dave when we start these shows.
Yes, because people are dying to know what the weather's like in Central Texas.
Well, anyway, we have our guest today, Tony Aguilar, better known as T. What's going on, man?
It's good, man. How are you, brother?
We're good.
Where'd you get the nickname T? Is that a like a Mary Jane reference, or is that just a name that you came up with, or what?
After quite a few rock metal bands, I decided to kind of try to do it in my own thing and called it Spore 333. And that was retarded. I just calling myself that, and it still ended up a band thing, and it didn't really work. So I was like, man, I had a million other ideas for a solo type name, and I just went with what everybody already called me. Everyone called me T just for Tony, just like, hey T, you know what I mean, T.
Yeah.
And
so capital T, and then
then I just put TEA because in reference to some of my recreational and medical,
Yeah, right.
So and plus I really love tea. Actually many
Sweet tea?
times. Well, yes, one of the many. Yes.
Yeah.
One of the many.
Are you an Earl Grey or more of a green tea kind of guy?
I'm kind of a green tea kind of guy. I've had some black tea.
All right.
Had some coffee infused tea.
All right.
Well,
That's
I
awesome.
Some Bush's tea.
Yeah, right.
A lot of
Haven't
them.
we all?
Yeah. Well, I think I first met you when you were in Oho back in the day.
Yeah.
Talk about Oho. What year did Oho start?
Man, I was thinking about that on the way over here because it was, starting, it had to have been 99 maybe, if that could be very, very loose. I mean, I'm horrible at dates, but somewhere around then, because I know we were gigging pretty heavily around 2001.
I think it was before 99 because we played with you guys, and it was probably 97.
Okay, well that sounds beautiful. I like it. I'm going to need that help. But yes, I was thinking
One
about
of the
that
side
earlier,
effects of tea.
Yeah, no, exactly. And a lot run together. We were doing, we were calling things certain things, and we were still playing in certain groups. So it kind of got mixed mesh there for a second between, from Phylum to some other projects that Oho was before it was even called Oho. We were something else. I don't know, not Buyer's Ride. I forget what it was. It was something crazy. We had a few different renditions of it, but we had two drummers at once. So it was that before it finally turned into what it ended up being.
What kind of genre of music would you classify?
That's
a good question.
That was it was like a metal infusion. It was kind of art metal, art rock.
Right.
Had a lot of jazz elements still, and I also, I'm into freestyle flowing and stuff like that. So I implemented a lot of kind of light hip hop elements without without totally rapping. It was still, that was kind of in the era of, that thing was kind of happening at that moment, kind of the hip hop rock thing. So, we had a small portion of that in what we did too. So we were able to play with a lot of those bands, but we were way different. We had, like I said, it's moved through many renditions, and the way it ended up is we ended up with a DJ slash saxophone player, and so we had bass player, drummer, amazing drummer Brandon Marquin, Russell Choppa bass player, Dave Doran guitar, Brian Wright guitar, and Kevin Cook played, like I said, he played some auxiliary percussion, had turntables, and mainly played saxophone. So. And I played congas and had little machines that I kind of sampled with and messed around with. So
yeah, that's a pretty eclectic mix of music right there with the turntables and
it was pretty sick. We didn't do a lot of scratching. When we got them, I was like, dude, what we'd like you to do is kind of bring some ambient sounds back there as a synthesizer would, you know what I mean? But with records and effects and delay pedals.
What kind of records would they sample?
Man, I would bring Halloween records, different sound effect Halloween records to the table, but he also had a collection of just scratch effects, sounds that he would take and slow down and and put through delays and all that kind of stuff to kind of stretch it out, time stretch and little effects off the board, and he would mess with it, try to make it sound out of this world. So
yeah, damn mosquitoes are.
Yeah, well, in case you hadn't heard from the earlier weather report, we had a shitload of rain here in Central Texas, so we get the mosquitoes. Hopefully they're not Zika mosquitoes for those of us.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
That might want to still procreate.
We were talking zombies before we started. Be like,
well, anyways.
So what got you back into music when you were a kid? What set that spark off to make you want to create music?
Well, man, it's hard to say. Like at the very beginning, I think it was just like the Fat Boys, Beastie Boys on the radio, recording them on tape. Just like had a little rap group in the creek where I grew up. In the little area, kind of North 21st, 22nd Street.
So you're from Waco.
From Waco, yeah, born and raised North Side Waco, North Side. I'm just kidding.
Well, we're here at North Side in the Hood
Yes,
right now,
we're
man.
doing it.
That's
We're
cool.
doing it. I'm home. This is a nice part of it, though, too. I like it. Yeah, I feel a joke back there. He's like, he's coming back later. But no, I mean, so it started there, man, and that was just a small love for it. We kind of took it really serious as kids. Like, we pretended we were, like, really making a group and doing that whole thing. And after that, like my grandmother, she always had some instruments laying around, like acoustic guitars out of tune. She sang really well, so she would sing, and she would hit the guitar, and just she didn't play it, so I got to learn how to play that thing so I could back up grandma. And I never did get to that point, but that's where it kind of started for me. And after that, it just, I swear to God, it was I had to have been like 14 years old playing in bars around here with probably people like Steve Dansby and Heath Small and freaking, just doing the Sandcastle thing. I think was probably one of the first bands around here where we were like playing like every bar, and I was totally underage. It was great. I loved it.
So what did you play? Were you lead singer?
I was singing during all that stuff, yeah. So that's how it all started, and it was, that was kind of, we wrote originals, but we learned a few covers just to kind of fill some spots instead of the other way around, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what, and then since then I'm the complete retarded advocate for, original music in the area.
We can't use that word in shed.
My bad. What?
We've already come across that. Man. I'm just fucking.
Dave is semi-retarded, so he gets offended.
I'm fully on.
We get along
man. What are you
pretty
talking about?
Go ahead, Dave.
All right.
How's the weather now? How's the weather doing?
Well, you're
It's
roasting
hot.
over there.
I'm burning up here.
You'll be all right. The
So
mosquitoes are fine.
so take us back to I don't know. Take us back.
Take it back.
Take us back to your first joint.
Holy shoes. First joint. Met my buddy Brandon Markman. I've mentioned him before. He was a drummer in Phylum and Oho and some of the earlier metal rock bands with me. And right now he lives in LA, and he's doing really cool stuff. We mail each other sounds, we kind of do this thing. We got this cloud deal going where we're kind of collaborating on music now. But anyway, we've been best friends since junior, like right at junior high, early before junior high-ish. And anyway, first joint, bought it from said school, junior high school, and just went behind, I think it was Skaggs Alpha Beta or something like that. That's where they lived, and we just jammed outside in the yard. We didn't even go, it was just like all, if y'all remember drums and shit from behind Skaggs, and all, that was us, and horribly playing Suicidal Tendencies badly, like doing that kind of stuff. But
was there a specific tune that somebody brought to the party, or a style that maybe you said, no, we're not going to go there?
No, not really. At that time, we were just kind of just whatever we could possibly learn.
Too heavy, or too, maybe too hair, or too, funk, or too
at
Chili
that time,
Peppers,
not.
or whatever.
At that time, no. If you fast forward a bit, yeah, I got totally particular about the way we were going to do things. But as far as my first joint, that was the first one, and we just barely hit it once, and it turned dark like really fast. His mom pulled up. She worked at Clicks, and it was time for her to come home, and she pulled up as soon as we blazed, and first time ever, and I'm stuck to the back of his truck. I couldn't move. Somehow he never got high either, and somehow he handled it like a champ, and I thought I was the one that was going to be all handling this shit right, and I'm just stuck, dude. Skaggs went way over there. It was like, it's crazy.
What's your opinion on drugs bringing out creative, or weed bringing out creative sparks in when it comes to music? Because you hear these old rock stars now that say, well, it was a waste of time, but I don't fully believe that. I think when you smoke a joint and you write some music, you can write some really cool stuff.
That's possibly. I mean, I think it changes as in different times, periods of your life. You know what I mean? You go through the times where that's kind of your thing, and then you go through periods of time where that's not at all what you want to do, and you're inspired by the staying staying straight for the day and kind of not falling into the you know what I mean, the cliches of that, you know. Like I was really into LSD and mushroom psilocybin and stuff for, you know, for some earlier writing, you know what I mean, moments. And that, you know, I at one point thought that kind of, when I was a kid, thought that was kind of how it was done, you know what I mean. Look at Morrison, look at all the, you know, look at look at Robert, look at every, you know, Jimmy, like it's like, you know, and you know, and those guys are way before my time. But I kind of like, you know, I got into all this metal stuff, and then all of a sudden kind of gotten this hippie feel, like this more of this kind of like, you know, revisited the things that I didn't have, like, you know, being that I wasn't in that era, and I kind of skipped it, but then I kind of went back to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was pretty impressive. I mean, really, when Oliver Stone, The Doors thing came out, I was a kid, and I was like, I watched that. Was super powerful.
That was a great movie.
Oh man, it was awesome.
So who were you, you know, when you were 20, who were you really digging on?
Oh my God. I mean, it's always been an array, but I mean, 20 years old, I mean, I was probably right around then revisiting The Doors barely, and like that kind of stuff. And, you know, oh my God, Kraftwerk, like, you know, I've always been into like certain, you know, different electronic, you know, music. Sure. And, I mean, and a lot of stuff like local, man. There was, I mean, I really was engulfed in local artists, friends, and people creating and trying to create that thing. Wasn't always kind of living out in that, you know, that looking for that band that really inspired. I was really inspired by artists and friends. I'm a painter as well. So, you know, we've always had a really tight-knit group of people, you know, in different sceneries throughout the years.
Were you able to influence the bandmates into your sort of diverse style that you're grooving on?
They may say that. I think we did for each other probably, because you know, we're all, I mean, anybody I've played with is just, that's kind of one of the, I don't know, you just have to be kind of open-minded, and you normally listen to, you know, from rap, hip-hop, jazz to metal, country, folk, you know what I mean? You know, you're probably going to, and everything in between, because, I mean, I just gel with people that way. I mean, it's hard for me to be in one box or be even around people that are kind of just, they've got to have this one thing all the time. You know, I respect it and I dig it, but it's like, for as far as friendships and long-term, where you kind of become family as you know, bandmates or artists together, you know, so if you're going to be around somebody, it's usually, you know, sometimes it's nice to have, you know, like somewhat like minds as far as being open-minded, at the very least. You know?
Exactly.
Good answer.
Yeah, exactly. I remember we played with you guys at a karate place. I think we talked about this not too long ago.
Oh, wow.
You remember that? It was on 25th.
That's crazy.
It was on 25th Street. And it was an old karate place.
Yes,
wasn't
the
it?
dojo. It was we had a cool name for it too. The something at the dojo. It was just yeah, that was cool. That was at a.
I remember you guys had a huge following. We had no following, and I remember us going. I think we went there and opened. It was just us and you guys.
I think so.
I think the
man.
band. I had a band called Shady Character.
That's the one it was. I was thinking Color of Darkness, but it was Shady Character.
It was before Color of Darkness. Okay. Shady Character, and it was. We were pretty much straight ahead rock, you know. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I can still remember the crowd looking at us like, what the hell is this? You know? Because they were waiting for you guys to come on and play some crazy stuff. And we thought we were crazy, but we weren't near as like just out there as you guys were.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys brought it. I mean,
at that time, man, it was like, I mean, if you were doing something semi-original, just doing your own thing or doing music, metal, especially at that time, it was like, you know, if you're doing some metal in a place where it's just like really not happening, it was like, come on, let's get it going. People, you know, somebody's gonna like it, and we'll snowball some vibe, you know, and get some network going. That's something you know, that we've got enough of now, or a lot of now, not enough of, but a lot of, and then we didn't have any. So, I mean, it was like, you guys rock, so we're like, come out and play some fucking rock and roll, you know what I mean? This is where it's at.
Yeah.
And we do that. That's where, like, right now people whine and cry about not having a place to play in this, or that, you know, there's nowhere for metal, or this, or, you know, and it's like, you know, at some point we were renting places. If we didn't have a place, it was like, you know, it was just a vacant room, basically. It was like an ex-karate joint, and we were like, hey, let's find out who owns it. It's on 25th Street down here by 25th Street Theater, easy to find. Let's do that. Hopefully it's cheap. Just boom, just through, you know. And
well, maybe they're talking about fixing up that theater.
I know. So I can't wait. I'm following it constantly. I just wish they'd
if they could do that, and then go ahead and you know, not only kind of do like the Hippodrome, if they could, like put bands and stuff like that, would be awesome, because that's such a
speaking
cool
of venues, you did you rent out. Remember Virtue?
Yeah, I rented that building out, and then we called it the Virtu, or I just called it Virtu, from Virtuoso, which I still call my production graphic work. I still call it.
That was a cool place. It was on like 20th Street or something. What street was that?
It was like North 19th ish, 18th, 19th ish.
It was like a hole in the wall place, but it was nothing but pretty much original bands.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
It was BYOB, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Paid your cover to get in.
Could we use a place like that?
It was an original place. It's some kind of place you don't see in Waco very often.
We really didn't. Yeah, there was a bar, but we didn't use it. I mean, it was strictly music. I mean, we went through hell to keep it just the bit that we did. I mean, for I guess between 2000, 2003, all up in there, that area. I mean, people were saying we were spinning prostitutes out of there, selling dope, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, and then when the cops came, this is what they said, there was like, white people don't come to this place, this area, unless they're buying dope. And I'm like, and that was literally towed straight to my face. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there like,
I was there.
I'm like a civil rights, like mental, my mind is in that world of, but I'm sitting there looking, I got dyed hair, I'm creepy looking to this fire marshal and this cop, and it's like, and they came and they and then eventually they were cool and they would be there, but they wouldn't making any money off the place.
Once you got past the profiling,
they were cool, but they came back after a while. They came and put their foot down and found other bullshit that they could have found when I paid for my, inspections for the city when I was trying to get the permit to open and blah, blah, blah. Shit that they could have caught already. They came back and did some shit, some exit shit, that was really taken care of. Anyway.
Because there was no crime to bust.
Nothing. They just wasn't making any money. They weren't making any money. I didn't have, like I said, no alcohol taxes, but people were in there drinking, having a ball. They had, a dance. They wanted me to get a dance floor permit, and I'm like, nobody dances. They were like, well, you have a dance floor. I'm like, well, I covered the dance floor with seating. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then when it was deep and we knew everything was cool, then there'd be some moshing, and it was great. Mainly, when the headlining act come, it'd usually be pretty packed up front where that could happen, and it wasn't that big a deal. We close and be fine.
What year was this?
That was like between 2001 and 2003, 2003, all up in there, off and on, because of like the tickets they'd come drop, because for some random shit they should have already got me for when I got the inspections and paid for the inspections through water company.
It was an underground. I mean, I would call it underground.
It was
place.
Very.
It was a cool place.
I'm sorry I missed out.
We played there at least once that I can remember.
I thought y'all did more.
We might have, I
know we did a few around that time. So around that time there was Rock Stocks and there was the
we played
Virtu.
Rock Stocks with you guys.
Yeah, so there was So we played a lot with each other.
I don't remember how we even met.
Me either.
Me
either. I don't either. I was when it comes. I'm thinking Color of Darkness when that comes around. You with long black hair, but I guess I thought Shady. What was it?
Shady Character was when we met.
I totally thought that was after.
No, Shady Character was before. That was late '90s. So you had that club late '90s because
it was 2000 to 2003 ish. Kind of up in there, and like I said, off and on. So because we'd have to shut down because I didn't make money there. I rehearsed there. I did art there. I do underground art shows there as well, and sometimes I combine them with the shows, but man, we sprouted out a lot of cool shit.
I guess we met at Rockstock. Maybe that was the first deal. Rockstock was a big thing they had at Jim Cycle Shop, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they had a lot of bands out there, and I think the first year we ever played there, I think we played there maybe twice. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a million years ago now. But David Zychek was the headliner on one of them. I remember that. And maybe that's where we met. Hell, I don't know.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
It's hard to man. We were bumping around a whole lot back then. So I mean, it's hard to say.
The good old days, huh?
Yes, it was awesome.
But these are good days too.
Oh yeah, always. Right now.
Talk about today. What do you got going on? I mean,
man,
I'm playing around doing your own. Man,
I usually I gig. I'll hit gigging for like 2 months, and I'll stop for like a month or two, and because I paint and I try to do the studio thing and record other people and try to do that thing too. So I'm trying to and I'm trying not to be so selfish with just my art, because my art is pretty abstract, man. It's not something I could just package up and put out there for you just to run with, and it's like, oh, check this, it's something. It's an acquired taste.
When I think of you, I think of a true artist. I mean, you're an artist as far as art goes and music goes. When I think of Waco and a true artist, I think of you for sure.
Thank you, man.
I really do.
You know what?
Because you encapsulate a lot of different kind of art.
Thank you.
You're not just playing the music to get people to come to the bar and see you. You know, you're not playing the 102.5 the Bear bullshit.
Definitely
you're playing what you want to play,
Yeah.
and I can really
Well,
admire that.
let's do this. Let's let T play a song, and then let's talk about some art shit, and then let's get back to music. And
We'll get to your studio. He's get you.
yeah.
open up a
Let's
studio.
talk about that.
Yeah.
So, what do you
Alright.
think about a song?
Sounds good to me. Let's do
All right.
something.
All right. Play a song called Sugar Ideals. It's I don't know. It's kind of about myself and about. I tell people it's about a different person every time they ask, because for some reason people are interested in that when they hear it, especially my musician friends. But yeah, it's kind of about myself and them and everybody else, and but also this one person in particular. There's this big old girl in this little old town. She can't help but throw her weight around. She writes these songs, sugar ideals, and love appeals. We fill her head, but she's the real deal. So take a bite of the simple song and call it true. Your two-faced tune ain't ever hung the moon, only burnt the sun and everything and everyone. Save the hype for a darker night, so we can't see through your insecure laser voice. Which we loved before the choice you made to rejoice another's torment. Well, I'm afraid you took that bait, my lord. So take a bite of the simple song and call it true. Your two-faced tune ain't ever hung the moon, only burnt the sun and everything and everyone. Who did right did do down.
Gee.
Woo! That made me sweat, man.
Man, it made me sweat a little bit too.
Wasn't that sun, huh?
God damn.
All right.
It was great, T. Let's talk about your art a little bit. I mean, you're a painter, right?
Yes, I do some painting. I do do much of everything. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to go into more of painting figures, painting sculpture type stuff, like I'll get driftwood and paint on that and try to find a way to kind of create more of a canvas painting. But mainly my history has been canvas painting, and at this moment I feel like I'm growing away from it and looking for the next direction. And I'm into film. I've lately been filming my canvas paintings, like small portions of them, and then processing them through. Last one I did it through Vegas Pro, and I just did some chopping up and some inverting and some a couple of effects, and kind of making visual effects out of my paintings at the moment. And just right now I'm searching for where it's going next, and I'm hoping to get into sculptures more.
So do you ever combine your paintings and music?
That's where I'm going right now with it, right? The new songs that I'm writing, and I'm into a lot of improvs. I play synthesizer and use some beat machines and some looping differently than I use when I'm playing like my acoustic stuff with it. So I'm really trying to, at some point here soon, showcase the those improvisational efforts, which is, like I said, beat making, synthesizers, live, and that has a lot to do with some graphic work that I've been working on right now, like what I was talking about as far as filming and inverting some of the film and stuff.
Have you ever checked out like Laurie Anderson or people like that are melding visual arts with sound?
Not right off the top. I've been, I kind of, at some point, if I do, I run across it on accident, and sometimes I don't bookmark it these days because I'm creating that, you know what I mean? And I don't want to clog any, you know what I mean? You somehow, humans usually end up utilizing some
don't
of
want
that.
any outside
I don't want it right
influence.
now. Like I know it's there, and I'm like, and I've seen tons of cool shit for forever. You know what I mean? But as far as studying it or kind of retaining it at the moment, I'm almost in this bubble to where I'm really trying to create my version of it, and I just know everything's been done. We all kind of know that, so. And that kind of scares me when get so deep into this creation. You don't want it to be a waste of any. So the whole deal is to try to freaking get it dope, get it really cool, get it and without having any outside input for the moment at least to start it.
Well, you're pretty self-taught from an artist standpoint. How did you get into painting and art, fine art, or whatever you want to call it? Did you go to a museum? Did you have books? Do you have people that turned you on, or did just kind of look at tattoos and get into it, or what?
Tattoos has been a big part of it. Of course, growing up around all types of different styles. My uncle, when I was a kid, I guess some of the early stuff. I was a kid, and my uncle, he painted all the lowriders around Central Texas. Like he was part of a couple like a lowrider club and was affiliated with a few other ones, which were kind of like awesome, like gangs, like car gangs at that time. They were real serious about it. It was like everybody was into their trophies. It was like, it was the dopest shit in the world. But my uncle was amazing with the airbrush, or he still is. I'm not gonna say was. But at that time there was a lot more lowriders going on, a lot more of that artwork. But I was really into that, man, watching him do that. And I never did that style of art. When I got into art, it was more in the abstract world, you know what I mean? In the early, like the whole, Geiger and Dali, and when everybody kind of starts in that world and like, that's some cool shit, and you go and you kind of try to do your version of it, and then, I got into Jean-Michel Basquiat and stuff like that, more simple, kind of more street art type stuff that wasn't graffiti, you know what I mean? And kind of, but still had a lot to say, and he was a friend of Warhol's.
Basquiat was awesome, and Did you ever watch that movie?
No, of course, yes.
Oh, yeah. Love that movie.
Great movie, great flick. But yeah, man, I mean, the art thing, I've done some tattooing, and I've done some mural work, and I've done just a little bit of everything, and just kind of right now I don't know if it's ever going to focus in on one, like I said, I've done majority canvas work, but and it's all been kind of folk art, abstract, kind of charactered, you know what I mean, kind of dark end meets kind of cartoon end, and that's, I don't know, it didn't really start anywhere in particular, and I can remember the lowrider stuff being the first place I saw anyone make a living doing it, and it looked like something, you don't have to wake up and go swing a hammer, you can go and swing an airbrush, and he made a pretty nice living.
Do you have a studio at home?
No, I do have a studio at home, but I also have yes, I have a studio at home, but I have a studio at the art form as well. I rent a couple of office spaces over there, and busted a wall and made a window thingy, and kind of got a little deal going on over there.
You ever wake up and sketch shit out that you might have dreamed about? Or?
As far as an art studio goes, yes, I have an art studio at both places, but I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. A lot of times I like to approach it and stroke it, and I know that's kind of, but I like to get into it like that, you know what I mean? That's
maybe a wake and bake.
Yeah. I mean, I like for it to start and like for it to cruise. Like it usually starts telling its own story ASAP. I mean, once you get something rolling, it happens. And I'll try to play that medium for, or that vessel for, because I see art and music sometimes as if we're just these bodies that these other past beings that are just literally speaking through us, and they're using a bit of us, and we are a bit of human in that world. But the musical world and the art world is kind of somewhat spiritual in a way. You almost feel the detachment from self, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's once you let it open, the art's just gonna make itself kind of.
So is there a medium that you prefer, like watercolor versus acrylic versus oil?
Man, as far as I use acrylic. I use all kinds of shit. Like I go to the flea market and load up on freaking latex, outdoor, indoor paints, old spray paints. Like I literally pull over the side of the road and pick up paints. Like I love taking that stuff and then making something super fresh out of all that trash. But I do have to go shop for shit too and get stuff, and when I do, it's usually acrylics. Although I love oil, I love the way oil flows, and it's super fun to work with. It just takes so long to dry, and I really like acrylic.
The immediacy of acrylic.
Just boom, it just happens, and I love it. Yeah,
that's how I.
So the studio you have is a music studio, but it's going to be an art studio too. The one you told me earlier you're working on a recording studio.
Right, and that's, yes. So it's at the Art Forum, which is a gallery here in North Waco, Texas. they rent rooms out for artists to
Where
paint.
is that? Where is that?
It's it's 1822 Morrow, so it's kind of like 18th Street and Morrow, but a block over this way on the corner. It's an old like doctor's office from under. I think my dad said he used to go there when he was a kid to get his teeth done, or maybe a dentist office or something back in there. But they rent spaces out, and they're just office spaces, and you can go in there and do your artwork, and kind of do your little deal, and they help just kind of facilitate artists. They just rent them out. They make their little money to do their to pay their rent.
You see a lot of Waco talent out there.
It comes and goes. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of people renting because there's no super lease thing. It's all like kind of however long you want to stay, however long you want to pay, kind of deal. So people come and go. Artists can be finicky sometimes. So you know what I mean. So you see a lot of faces changing. But right now we got Mark Kieran over there. He's been there pretty solid. I left. I've come and gone. Because when you're an artist, paying a monthly rent on some space can get that can get pretty hectic. So anyway, we've talked some, and he allowed me to bring some recording gear in there, and I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna track some of my people that I work with around here and try to get pump the original scene, a little more, and showcase the writers around here.
Waco is so hungry for this kind of thing.
No doubt.
Are you able to sell any of your art?
Both, yes. I mean, it's not like they're not knocking the door down, but when I put out a CD, I've got, for some reason, I get downloads. It gets out there a bit. Physical copies, they never last. I don't get them as quick as I need to get those. But it's not, it's not a living. But I'm happy to be able to do it.
So can you find your music on iTunes and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. You can Spotify, iTunes, any Amazon, Google Play, any of that stuff. You can find the Sport 333 stuff, the T Aguilar stuff. My recent T Aguilar album is called Glass, and it's only available on the website, which is taguilar.com. And it's going to be there for another 3 months solely, because I just kind of wanted to do that, what I mean? Because the websites are hard to get traffic through, and if I could have one reason to kind of... But then I'll also have another reason to hopefully promote it one more time when you get it put on, when iTunes gets it and Amazon and all that, I'll be able to...
Yeah, it takes a little while for iTunes to get it, but once they do, then...
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But so I'm kind of like, on purpose, kind of didn't push that button on that, because I would like to just do some releases that are... solely for the website, at some point when I can afford to record, more often, take the time to.
So what is your take on the whole, the internet now? It's just so easy for anybody and everybody to make their music and get it out there for the world to see. What's your take on that?
Man, I think it's good and bad. I mean, it's definitely a good thing. There's no doubt. It's awesome. You can find and you can be found, but then again, there's just a lot of, there's
a lot of crap.
It's a lot of garbage that gets left through the... I mean, I try not to judge art because art is what it is, but I mean, there's apparent effortless stuff that people put out, and badly recorded, badly mastered, badly mixed, badly written, and there's a ton of it. So it kind of makes... And that should not matter, honestly. If somebody wants to put out crappy art, that's fine, but it makes it really hard for someone to listen to you. You know what I mean? When it's taking up all the room, or they've clicked on enough shit that was not good, so you kind of in there with that crowd, and you're like, we're independent, we're doing this independently, you can just click on me. Well,
old geezers like us are used to listening to that bootleg Led Zeppelin album that sound like crap. But because it's Jimmy and Robert and all those guys, we suffer through it. But nowadays, really got to think that you got to have a product that's at least, like you said, well mastered.
Right. Yes.
It's almost like going to a website that looks like shit. It might be a great website once you dig into it, but if it looks like shit on the front end, you're gonna click on. So it's like if you have a bad audio, people are gonna move on.
No doubt. I mean,
so what kind of production facility do you have where you can get clean recordings here? I mean, you have a...
It's pretty decent. I'm running Cubase 8 right now. It's I'm running, I'm digging Steinberg stuff. I've been keeping it PC on. I've tried some Mac, and it just wasn't working for me, man. So kind of went back to PC, and I've got 2 rooms. One's kind of a small live room, and the other one's a smaller control room. They're both just office size, and I've got a vintage 64 Traveler Ludwig kit in right now, and I've got a Gretsch Catalina series kit that I keep at the house that I could bring to the studio. But small live room, decent sized live room, small control room. You know, I'm running some JBL monitors,
good amps, good mics.
You know, I got some decent mics. I'm running some of the higher end Shure stuff right now, but you know, I'm kind of looking for. And if I need to rent more, you know, better mics, it's a project studio, and I hope to, you know, work with people that I enjoy. I'm really reluctant to just have it the big public come and pay and do the thing, right. But I do that as well, and I will, but I don't really shout it because I'm really trying to, like, at some point have somewhat of a label and promote really good artists and kind of go that direction with it.
It must be hard for an artist like you to go into the studio and record your own music and ever be finished with it.
Oh God, yeah.
I can see that. I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, you know, I could add one more thing to this.
It could just always get cooler and cooler.
You know, I got 50 more tracks. What else can I add to this thing?
Yeah, and the last album I did, like, I usually put like synths and other beat stuff. And the CD that I was speaking of just now, Glass, it's all like I did drums, bass, guitar, and vocals, and I just kept it that. Like, I didn't add the extra shit. You know what I mean? Like, I went in and literally just like no metronome either. I rocked the drums for 5 songs literally, and came back and just stacked bass, stacked guitar, stacked vocals, and said, you know, boom with the other stuff, and just deliver it that way.
When you do a song like that, are you thinking the song in your head and you're playing because you put down the drums first?
Right. Well, it's already written. So
you've got the song in your head.
Yeah, I'm just laying it down. I'm like I'm playing the guitar line in my mouth. You know what I mean? And I'm playing it out. And some of the drums, have you
ever got it laid down and then you start recording the music and go, oh shit, that should have been one more verse there?
Sometimes and maybe not a full verse, but there's little things that you're like, man, that should have been there, or that could have gone longer, but then I'm truly in that world sometimes, like I was saying earlier with the painting. It's like I just feel like it makes itself.
I think I just drank his beer.
Oh,
dude, sorry. Keep it over there.
Yeah, that's it. But it makes itself. You know what I mean?
I don't have cooties.
Fuck, I don't. Shit, I was looking for some cooties.
He was looking for some cooties.
I have Zika, but I don't have cooties. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, it makes itself. It'll come to life on its own.
So what's your songwriting process? Do you come up with the lyrics first? You come up with the music? Is it all kind of come out at the same time, or is it always different?
I try to approach it differently at times, but a lot of times I'll sit down with an acoustic and kind of like come up with a line and kind of like ad-lib some vocals for a fucking month over it, and then throw it away a couple of times and then come back to it, and when I'm ready to write that song, I go listen to them, and I'm like, I'll on a little phone recording or something, I'll go, man, that's something I think I could sit down and get serious with. Then I'll sit down and I'll take what I was kind of feeling at that moment lyrically. I like ad-libbing and improvising a lot, and usually that speaks more of the volume that's here than my writtens, than my writings or whatnot. So I like to go back and listen to those just ad-libs, because you hear the melody that wanted to be born in, and you hear the lyrics that might want to be there, and then you're able to kind of go with it.
It's great. It's great
filling in the blanks.
It's great to have cell phones these days where you can come up with a little rhythm on a guitar and record it right away, and you've got it, and you can always go back to it.
Yes, no doubt.
Technology is great these days.
We're better with it than without it, no doubt.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, what I really love about it now is like Facebook and other things. You can get where you're playing out there to the world immediately, and everybody knows where you're playing.
We got Facebook Live now too, so
yeah, that's pretty cool.
So whenever you're drunk enough and you feel like
I should have lived this.
Well,
now I think about it,
we might live it and we might Periscope it, but
I think we go to Facebook Live now. Screw Periscope. Nobody's on Periscope. I get like 2 or 3 viewers, but everybody's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's around for more than a day.
Yeah, it stays on forever. Well, Periscope stays on forever now too. They've changed it. Yeah. We'll edit all this out, but yeah.
Why? Edit out the Obeezer part too.
Well, we'll edit. But
he's just talking about himself.
I know.
He's just talking about himself.
I'm just playing. Well, hell yeah.
You got any new stuff you want to play for us?
Yeah, I got another something I could play. I mean, it's something off the glass. That's my newest CD, and I'd like to play some stuff.
Anything
off
else
it.
you want to talk about that we haven't?
Are you gigging that we
right now, man? Like I said, I'm still finishing the finishing touches on the studio, and it wasn't I wasn't getting it done gigging, so I kind of put a stop, to it for just 2 seconds, and I've gotten to where I'm writing this new batch of songs, and I'm gonna have to find places to play that are really gonna be receptive to that, because I'm putting certain things in places that it just doesn't belong, and I've always done it, and people have been receptive to it, but I just feel like right now to benefit my whatever I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have to really, and the newer songs that I'm writing is different from what I've already done, and I can't stop that from changing and happening or evolving, so I'm just going to have to really go and look for joints that I can do that stuff in, where I can press a button, there's drum beats, and I'm playing acoustic, and it's beatboxing, and, synthesizing all with, 2 arms, kind of, that's got to be something that's, that people are there to kind of, be cool with.
So what places are there in Waco
around here?
That?
True Love, they're pretty receptive to what I do, and and that's a cool place, and I try not to wear that. I mean, that place doesn't like to wear the artists out either. They like to kind of book a band, and it'd be a minute before they come back, so it's a slow rotation over there. I'd do the same thing if I own the place too, to keep it, try to keep it fresh. But waiting, that'll be another booking around here. But that's the backyard, they're pretty receptive to stuff. But it's like if I play over there, it's usually like open mic nights and stuff like that. It's like I don't see me booking the T. Aguilar thing there and it being like, you know what I mean? Unless it's some band that's somewhat like, eclectic, and it's like somebody that Baylor's going to come see, and then they're like, hey, maybe T can fit with that because that's got keyboard or synthesizer in it. Maybe we see if they want to open up. So there's stuff like that. But I mean, right now it's kind of like I've got this big idea, and I'm talking to some friends, and we're kind of getting this art show together that's going to be audio and visual, live painting, live improv beat making and audio synthesis, different types of musical stuff happening live. And Brian Broadway's got a new studio downtown. I mean, we have the art for him to do functions in, and right now I'm kind of looking for just one big room that isn't anything in particular.
So
a gallery.
You're not going to be opening for Wade Boring at the back. I mean, what's his name? Bowen. Not going to. I'm putting sound for those guys. They're great guys. I've been to hotels with them boys, and they're going. But I'm not. That's probably not going to work. It's probably not gonna work, you know what I mean? But it's just what it is, and I'll find the avenue. I guess I just gotta, I gotta find out what it is that I'm doing. I mean, honestly, it changes so often, I just can't stop it, and it's somewhat of a downfall, I think. But it's somewhat of like it's art. It's what I do, and it's kind of the main part of it, I think.
Well,
everything else is career shit, and if I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about just investing and doing all that to promote something that I don't think people are just going to buy the shit out of and be all that part of. I just feel like if it's worth its salt and it gets in the right hands and I put it in some decent areas, and then it'll be what it is, independently, available basically. Right, and there's times where I'm busy, and we're getting nice flow through the site and through downloads and all that shit, and that's really cool. And but that's kind of all I can ask for at the moment. Excuse me.
Yeah. And you're happy with your products, so that's really what matters.
Getting there.
As opposed to playing to an audience.
Right, no doubt. Yeah, I'm more into that, and I hate sometimes they look at that in another direction, and be like, that's totally selfish. You got to play for the people and kind of like get that thing going. It's like I think that when you're doing something, artistic, you are playing for the people. People want to see creators. Maybe not in this town, but as much as other successful music art scene type cities and towns. But
so do you ever venture out to Austin?
Yeah, we've done some Dallas, some Austin. You know what I mean? Some San Antonio. We got to play South by this last year, which was pretty cool. We played the Brixton. I got to open up for David Gilmour's son, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So that was pretty bad. Yeah. Patient Wolf was his band.
David Gilmour.
The David Gilmour. Yeah. So that was pretty cool, and he's really cool. We kind of like we've been emailing each other here and there. They're talking about bringing him into town. I've got a friend that wants to give him $500, and he's living in Austin now. You know what I mean? So. And he's like, yeah, that sounds cool.
What does Dave's son play?
He's like what style or what?
Yeah.
He sings and plays guitar, and the style is. I can't. It's kind of modern rock, you know what I mean? It's and it's got the Floyd element, man. But it isn't Floyd by any means, and he ain't trying to do it. It's just you can tell, like by default, has that that eerie, long drawl.
Does he sound like his dad?
In some ways, but not trying to. I see it and I feel it. But if you didn't know it was his son, you wouldn't even, you wouldn't at all go Pink Floyd or Gilmore or any of that. And but yeah, I mean,
but cool.
When you do, it's kind of like you're looking for it, you know. But,
so his son,
Matt
obviously
Gilmore
from England.
Yes, of course.
Relocated to Austin.
Yes, he went and he went to record an album with some. I mean, I think it's a guy from Steppenwolf or something that has a really dope-ass studio in Austin, legendary crap. And so he came to, and I might be quoting wrong, dropping wrong names, but I think it is, and it's a guitar player, something like that. And this dude came in to record with him, Matt Gilmore, and then he just met some guys that he was going to use in the studio, I guess, and they ended up working out, and they started gigging, and they just,
the gene pool is there. So hopefully.
Well, yeah, it's really,
David
he's pretty
Gilmour
damn good.
Is
it's pretty
one
good.
of my top 10.
No doubt. Yeah. I was late to that train, but when I got on it, I didn't get off. I love, I love Floyd and all that stuff is definitely, I think created musical, experimentation in the, common platform as far as like it was underground-ish, but it very quickly became, a cool commercial thing to be able to experiment. And that was like one of the very few fresh breaths of air for as far as where I sit musically in the world of art. Yeah. Like they're one of those things that, and I just hope for more of that where people can do it legit and they come out with that style of music that people can ingest even though they're not experimental minded. It's still something beautiful to them, and I'm looking for that. And
that style will never go out.
No doubt.
And Dave Gilmour is still relevant.
No doubt. That's the truth. That's true.
Speaking of relevant, let's hear a relevant song, I guess.
Okay,
I don't know.
sure. She's like, I think that works.
Nice segue.
I don't know if that's a segue or not.
Well, I'm going to play a song called Beyond the Blast. It's on the new CD, but it's kind of a revamped version of something I wrote when Dave Dorn put together the West compilation to help raise a couple bucks to donate to the cause. I guess it was a building the park over there, rebuilding the park.
Yes, it was.
And it was kind of written about that situation loosely, and so here it is, called Beyond the Blast. Was covered up by the blast of something new to come. The day that life had shut its eyes and some they did not make it. Created a time of unexpected peace, unified efforts defeating the beast. That there is nature sent from above or from beyond. We have wandered from our paths, our hearts. Now time has come to remind the dark how the light it rains. So it's time to prepare. Beware of the forces that be. You and me, us and them. Him, her, our eternal beings. Without thinking, our angels snap into action. We see no right hand telling the left hand anything. True spirit, prove that our human heart is still pulsing hard. We are relaying a message from the earth, or from beyond. We have wandered from our paths, our hearts. Now time has come to remind the dark how the light it rains. So it's time to prepare. Beware of the forces that be. You and me, us and them. Him, her, our eternal being. tribe is thick. We have no limits, we shoot from the heart and we dance from the hip.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, good job. Awesome, as always.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we want to
Appreciate you
thank
guys.
Tony Aguilar for being in the shed with us this evening. And what do you think about it, Dave?
It was great. Thanks, T.
You're very welcome, Dave. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for
And
having
we
me.
will see you next time in the shed.